Thanks for staying tuned. This is still iBrand Daybreak. Now, a coalition of support groups has brought the expression of interest and nomination forms for the president of Africa Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina. The Punch newspaper reported that a coalition of 28 groups raised the 100 million naira used in procuring the forms for Mr. Adesina on Saturday in Abuja. Over the past couple of days, buying of presidential forms by support groups for aspirants has become a trend. Adesina served as a Minister of Agriculture under former President Goodluck Jonathan and was re-elected as President of the African Bank in 2020. Now the question is, do you think he is a qualified candidate for the post of the presidency of Nigeria in 2023? Join us to discuss this is Mazi Obioha Chinodum, a political affairs analyst. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mazi.
Yeah, good morning once again. Chinedum Obioha.
Obioha, okay.
Yes,
Good morning, Mazi.
thank you.
Mazi.
Maybe I'll learn that greeting.
You should learn
It's a simple greeting. It's a simple greeting. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, thank you very much.
Anyways, Mazi, let's start from the trend, even before we get to Adesina's, possible candidacy. This trend of support groups buying forms for different aspirants, what do you make of it?
Yeah, as you were reading it, I was thinking about this question. It's not only the one that interest groups have bought funds for, and I begin to ask myself, why is it that other interest groups have not bought funds for me? Interest group bought for the vice president, bought for this one. I think we should now begin to ask ourselves, is anything wrong with us, we Nigerians? 100 million is not $100. So to me, it's a disservice to this country for people call themselves interest group buying forms for all of them, almost all of them. So I don't buy that idea. And I think we need to call our senses to order whether we are doing the right thing, whether are we still normal human beings, are we still morally being as God created us. So I am worried about it.
Why, Mazi, now for interest groups to purchase forms for these people, that means they must have, or they think that they are good enough qualified candidate. Look at that.
It's not that they are good candidates. It's like a payback. They are using it as a payback. Don't forget, I think what is even trending in the news now is that the CBN governor has also indicated interest. And his own is so worrisome that he said the Farmers Association bought the form 100 million. But don't forget also that a couple of months ago, the same CBN governor complained that even the farmers have not been paying back the loans. And the same Farmers Association bought the form for him. So we are country that we lack moral. We are country that we love wrong things. We are people that have been our moral, our conscience have been sold, and we find ourselves getting what we are seeing now. Ordinarily, the CBN governor, is he morally right to participate in this election? Additional, you talked about, to me, if not that he has now said that interest group bought funds from on Saturday, is one of the best candidates I also would have even supported.
Coming to that, Mazi, you know why I'm asking that question? Because now I said for interest groups to deem you fit to buy the form, that is really their interest group buying the form. They should think you're a good candidate. Now looking at
was he consulted?
Now look at what Adesina
it means
has
it
done.
Is an imposition. They are forcing him to go. He has not told them that I want to contest, but I don't have money. Just like our president in 2014, he said that he took loan, and I don't know whether he has repaid that loan. I don't know. So what I'm trying to make out of this now, I mean, do they seek and obtain his consent before they went and bought the form? Has he indicated that, look, I want to run, I'm interested, I'm qualified, but I don't have the capacity. I don't have the money involved because it's 100 million naira. Mark, 100 million naira is a small thing. So maybe we have to, in the course of discussion, we have to talk about that 100 million. So to me, I don't, there's something they didn't want to tell us, or they've not been telling us. Interest group buying, which means it could be that some of the ways they shifted the money pending for a time like this, and they will say that interest group friends. Interest group are friends now. So maybe those that he has helped, those that he has given some loan, and those that maybe he opened account for them in their names, and this is. So I don't want to go into that, but to me, one is one of the best candidates. He did well when he was
agriculture minister.
Yes, agriculture minister. He did well, and by so doing, he was appointed and reappointed. I think I love him, but that's not the area. That's not the question you asked me. The question you asked me is that this interest group of people buying forms, are they morally sound? Is something wrong with them?
I quite understand. As I said, we'll delve into you know, his candidacy or his possible candidacy and how qualified he is just in a bit. Regarding the issue of interest forms you've talked about, you've spoken from the moral aspect. Do you think these various interest groups buying forms is a form of sycophancy just to, you know, get favors when their candidate eventually wins, either positions or contracts or what have you? Because within our political landscape, we know the reality is different from other climes.
I was Jordan FM on Friday, and the presenter asked me a question. He started asking me a question by answering the question. Just what you have done now. You have answered the question. These are sycophants. These are people who possibly have benefited from his services, and these are people who intend to benefit from him if he gets that. Even the 100 million, all of them just need to pay. The people who are discussing for that, they are having a roll call. They are now having a roll, and it's a part of what do I say? It could be a system by which they are supporting the party. It is possible. That's what we are discussing. It's possible that is our own way of supporting the party, raising money for the party for these elections. That's the rumor. Let me use the word. That's the rumor and allegation going on. Otherwise, 100 million. Let me digress. The students are still there. Aviation industry shutting down. Also say that they are now going to start indefinite strike. And these people are choosing to raise 100 million, which means Samson and Mark, that they don't have interest, which means they don't concern. They don't believe that Nigerians are suffering. They don't believe that Nigerians are eating from the dustbin. They don't believe that even, oh God, goodness, these people, they are not interested about you and I at all. They don't believe that they are suffering in Nigeria. They don't believe that anything can, I mean, they want Nigerians to die in poverty. That's what it means. Because if one person will drop out 100 million, how many of them have even bought a form? Multiply 100 million by the number of people that bought it. Can't it go a long way in solving some of these problems? And this is a country that the minimum wage is 30,000 naira. And how many offices can pay this? Even some of these government officials, some of them are not paying even the 18,000 naira before, let alone now. The issue now is that these people, including additional, including the CBN governor, including other governors that have not bought the form for 100 million, they don't bother about it. They don't care about it. Whether you are existing, it doesn't concern them. We are in a very big mess in Nigeria.
So, what would you rather have? What would you rather suggest to be done? Because there has to be a purchase of form, and people who are contesting for that position has to be at least financially buoyant enough to an extent to be able to contest for that. According to how politics is played in Nigeria. So what would you suggest should be done if the 100 million, so some persons, they think 100 million is to the caliber of people contesting, they think it's just child's play. While you are coming from another angle, which is right in your sense. But what would you rather have to be done instead of having to...
If you are to ask me, and if I'm to respond according to my own upbringing, I would have rather said that as many that have participated in this governance should be out of it. One, I would have been, personally, I would have jumped out of it. The country is bad, and we are part of the system that has made this country like this. I won't participate. Let us fix this country first before asking a person to bring 100 million naira. Let us collectively contribute this 100 million naira and see how much it will go in solving one of the, especially the ASU. The students are there almost 3 months now, and they are now going in for another indefinite strike. So to me, I would have suggested, I'm not saying that the form should be free. It should have been lesser than that. It should have been lesser than, and they should have now, in fact, all of them in APC, in PDP, AZP would have said enough is enough. Let us give a chance to other people. We are part of the system that has messed up this economy, messed up everything. Insecurity, poverty, the economy. Have you noticed that nobody is talking about governance? Nobody is talking about the security again. Nobody is talking about the economy. Everybody is now jostling for buying forms, this. Last week or week before the last, I was there. You asked me the airfare that has been increased. What about them? I said, you asked me about the masses. I said, who are the masses? Are they not the same masses that are used to even manipulate the election? Are they not the same masses that go and collect 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira, a copy of the record? So masses to me are part of the problems. So the best thing for them to do is to go back and say, what do we do to salvage this country? Things are bad. Even the minimum wage, labor is complaining. People, even civil servants, have workers, some of the governors that have even purchased the form have not been able to pay workers, have not been able to pay the pensioners. Pensioners are slumping, dying. How do I have the moral justification to raise money, people's money, not even my own personal money, money from the security vote, money that I steal from here and there to buy form? I would have rather used it to pay pensioners, make sure that my workers are paid up to date. Job satisfaction, welfare of the workers should be what should be occupying their interest. But unfortunately, they want to go 100 million naira, which means, let me say it again, they are not interested about your welfare. They are not interested whether you are living. They are not interested whether you are eating. They are not interested whether roads are bad everywhere. It's people that their conscience have been shared and they don't bother about you. That's the summary about it.
Okay, let's talk about, additional's possible candidacy now, or aspirations. The man, the reality of the African Development Bank is different from the Nigerian nation in terms of presiding over their affairs.
Which means not a civil servant.
Well, again, what I'm saying in essence is, based on what we've seen him do as the president of the African Development Bank, compared to the challenges and the realities of the Nigerian nation, do you think he's a qualified candidate?
Yeah, of course, yes. That's my answer. Yes, he's qualified in his own aspect. He did well when he was a minister for agriculture. And we all clap for him. I think for him to sustain his good name, because the Bible says good name is better than perfume. The system is bad. I will say I don't want to soil my hand. I will quietly, at the end of my tenure, I'll quietly go into my private business and leave everything about government, Nigerian politics and things like that, because the system will mess him up.
But if you say the good people should leave, the game, because there has to be good people to also correct the system.
In a normal working environment, you talk about good people. There's something, there's a systematic failure. The economy is bad. The constitution, which is a grammar, it's not working. people, personally, I journal that I said that this constitution, one of the problems we have. He is quite qualified, morally, from what we can see from outside, educationally, everything, administratively, it has what it takes. But to me, I am not condemning him in whatever is qualified, but I am saying the system is bad. The system will mess him up. It's better he goes, even seek another appointment somewhere
if we keep
to retain his good name. Let me tell you, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala came here. She did wonderfully well. But when this administration came on board, they destroyed her name, said a amount of things. But World Bank picked him. And today, she is the Director General of World Trading Organization. So the system in Nigeria is bad. Nigeria will destroy you as a person. Nigeria will destroy, the Nigeria system will destroy your reputation, your integrity, all about it.
But holds the fact that there has to be someone, because if
somebody has to be there, of course, but we need a cleansing. We need a cleansing. We need total cleansing of the system. The system is bad. The system is corrupt. The system has failed. So we need a cleansing. And we need to go back to the drawing board.
Who do that? If you say the good guys who, in quote, are capable of, cleansing the system should stay away, then who does? Is it the same old players in the same game that we're complaining about you expect to do the cleansing?
Look, Samson, there was not too young a bill that was signed into law. And these same people have made it so difficult for the younger ones to come up.
But the younger ones that even came up, we've not been impressed with them. You had Yahya Bello from for Kogi. The Kogites are
he's a governor. Yes.
As a governor,
let me tell you, I love him. I love him. I love him. I took time to listen to his whatever I read on TV the other day. It's very good, very good, very good. But I faulted him for something, that he was owing workers before 2019 election. The pensioners were not paid, and he quickly ran to the federal government. Federal government released about 10 billion naira 2 weeks to the election. And the same, when we talk about the masses, the same Nigerian Labour Congress that was even going against him, clap hand for him. He shared that money. That people said he shared that money, and up till now, the same indebtedness is still there. So Yahya Bello, you are talking about, it's good. I'm not. But then, apart from him, he is a governor, sitting governor. Who other youth have you seen that come out to raise 100 million? It's difficult. 100 million is not $100. So it's not 100 naira. Million. How many of you? You see, we want a total and holistic cleansing. I'm not talking about, when I talk about cleansing, I'm not talking about blood revolution. No. Intelligently. People, unfortunately, if you go to academia, the professors messed up the elections last time. They were used to rig the election and things like that, because I can say, because one of them is in court also. So we need to go back to make sure, the only way we can do that, to make sure that those that have been in the system since 1999 should not be part of it. But unfortunately, they are so smart and crafty that they will fuse into the younger ones to corrupt them again.
Mazi, here's my question to you. You've said over time here that Akinwumi Adesina, the president of the African Development Bank, is more than qualified to be the president of this nation.
Like any other one.
Like any other one. Now, yeah, the one saying that despite his qualifications, he should stay away from the game so that it doesn't
because of the systemic failure.
Now, if you have good people, qualified candidates staying away because of the system that is rotten or bad or what have you, how do we get the system working?
We get the system working by making sure that the new system we put in place a systematic, a strong institution. Strong institution is the answer. Make sure an institution is very solid, very strong, the foundation. Because even the corruption you are fighting, that was what Jonathan said. You don't need to be clapping people into jail. Of course, when somebody is caught stealing money, you should be arrested and prosecuted and jailed. But also consider putting a strong institution on ground that even when you come in, it will be difficult for you to corrupt the system. Just like what is happening in America. When the former Trump lost the election, he was trying. The system is there. Before you know it, he doesn't need to go. The system chased him out. That is the system we are talking about. There be a strong institution, a strong system that when it is there, when you come in, you will not be able to soil your hands.
Mazi, you know, Akinwumi Adesina did great as agriculture minister, which you have also confirmed.
Yes.
A lot of people can confirm that. And he was agriculture minister, even with the system that we all claim to be corrupt in this country. And he did well.
It wasn't as corrupt as it is now.
For them, there was a corruption somewhere. And it takes, according to the Bible we all believe in, it takes a little seed of corruption to spoil everything.
Let me tell you.
Okay, Mazi.
The president then gave me a very free hand to operate. And he demonstrated his stewardship. Right? He was given free hand to operate, just like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was given free hand to operate during Obasanjo's administration, right? And she did marvelously well. What I'm saying is this: if you have a strong institution, not a strong human being, strong institution.
But then there still needs to be a level of doggedness and tenacity to be able to.
He's a very good man. I'm talking from my own angle by saying that for him to retain his good name.
Okay.
Just like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala washed her hand off Nigerian system, blah, 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 blah. It will be ideal. I'm just advising him more.
But it's not helping us.
I'm not saying he has a right to do that. But I continue saying that the system is bad until we right the wrong, until we have a strong institution. How do we do it? We get our constitution written and agreed by Nigerians that will checkmate whatever one does. Otherwise, as far as this constitution is still there, as far as we still have the crop of people in the National Assembly who are rubber stamps, we'll not get anywhere.
Okay, Mazi, just as we wrap up in 30 seconds, please, just as we wrap up this particular discussion before we go on a very short break, in 30 seconds, if you insist that the qualified ones like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, additional should stay with, that we need strong institutions, don't we need these qualified people to be part of those who rewrite the constitution, contribute policies that would bring about those strong institutions in 30 seconds?
They have to start from the grassroots. They must be elected so that if they are elected, they'll be able to make good laws that will now transform to strong institutions. As far as we have these present lawmakers, we cannot get anywhere. That is why I said with the present administration, with the present lawmakers, with the present constitution, we are not seeing the Messiah yet.
Okay.
Okay. That's Mazi speaking to us about, you know, this interest group or the support group, as it were, that purchased the nomination for the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, to contest the 2023 presidential elections. We'll go on a very short break now. Mazi is still in the studio with us. When we come back, the discussion continues. Please do stay tuned.